Hello nerds and welcome to Into the Wild, your favourite wildlife and conservation podcast.
This is a podcast where we talk about nature, wildlife and conservation news from around the world. We keep it light, but we're also very serious journalists, and our aim is to also report the human stories that sit alongside them.
I am your host, Ryan Dalton, and the voice you just heard is your other host, Nadia Sheikh.
Hi, that's me.
So let's crack on with the show. I'm wearing my new pair of joggers. Now, this is interesting because I would say this is the first pair of joggers I've owned since I was 14.
So I was actually going to say that doesn't sound like the kind of thing you're quite a smartly dressed man.
I wear jeans or a cord.
Or a cord, or a smart trouser sometimes because you've got many suits.
And even in the home, so after work, I'll come back and lounge in denim.
Oh, you're a fool.
And people call me names for that.
Tell me that. Well, I just called you a fool.
Yes, I mean, case in point. I'm
actually wearing joggers right now.
Well, I got them on Vinted, so they're new to me. They're Uniqlo. They're only £6 on Vinted.
And?
Yeah, I mean, don't expect me to do anything ever again.
Game changer, yeah. You can't go outdoors again.
No, God, that's me done for the year.
If your friends come knocking on, your mum will be like, nah, he's in for the night.
He's in for that. And do you know what? I liked them so much when I put them on. And this is God honest truth as well. About 35 minutes after wearing them, I went back on Vinted and bought another pair of Uniqlo joggers.
Okay, just ease in, Ryan. Come on, don't.
Well, no, I don't want to just have one pair.
You know, oh God, you haven't even bed them in yet.
What? So I've got 6 more on order.
You need to decide whether this is a lifestyle choice you want for yourself because your productivity is about to go down.
That's it. No work.
I'm glad we're wearing joggers.
I like them. Yeah, no, I do like them.
Also known as sweatpants. Is that right?
I think that's more of an American term.
Is it? Yeah, it's gross as well, isn't it?
I've never. It is, yeah.
It is happening, though.
Joggers makes them, like, I don't know, it's very misleading in English, isn't it? Like, to call them joggers, because we're calling them after a name for exercise, but we don't use them for exercise.
We're not doing that, no.
We're not doing that.
No. I might run errands in them.
Yeah, at a slow pace.
Well, I'm very happy for you. It's about time you start calming down and stopped being so...
Smartly dressed. I just want to wear a bolo tie, shirt and blazer all day.
I know you do, and that's why we all love you. And actually,
Aww.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. Let me see, lift a leg up, can you? Are you that flexible?
I mean, no, not from this stance. Are you mad? I'll stand up. This is just for you, though.
Yeah, okay, let me have a look. So Ryan's joggers are, like an olive green.
Olive green, innit?
An olive green, that's quite, okay, they're quite smart looking.
Thanks.
Anyway.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Yeah, I'm over January, and I know I say this all the time, and I've probably been saying it every week, but it's got to finish now. Honestly, it is probably the 58th of January. I don't know how it's only the 16th of January.
I feel like it's been 2026 for about 7 years.
I can't. I'm absolutely over it. People have got expectations of me. This week I had to work 5 days. I don't usually work 5 days. It's been dreadful. It's Friday because of dry January. I'm not drinking.
Do you know what? Hand on my heart. I f***ed that in the bin.
Did you?
I wasn't doing dry January.
I had 1 pint last week. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm still technically doing dry January.
Yeah, I went to, and then I had one stressful day this Wednesday, like really horrible day, and I went to the pub to meet someone, and I thought I'll get a non-alcoholic, and then I thought, do you know what? There's so much shit that's happened in the first 14 days of January. I've had a shit day, and I sank 3 Guinness.
I knew you were going to go Guinness as well. Guinness is a meal, it's not a drink. I wouldn't worry about it.
It's basically ice cream, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, let's do our weekly nature highlights where Ryan probably shares something from Hampstead Heath.
Yes, let's go on to nature highlights where Nadia shares something spiritual because she forgot to look around her for nature this week. Let's go. I'm going to start with mine, if that's all right.
Go on. Prove me wrong.
It is from Hampstead Heath.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I saw at very close range, and I'm talking, I reckon about 20 foot up in a tree. And you're already not believing me, are you?
I don't know. It's already annoying me. I don't know why. Go on.
Well, I was walking in the woods, and this bird flew in.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's not a pigeon.
No.
And I thought, it's not a kestrel. It wasn't the right colours. And so I thought, I'll go have a butcher's at it. I had my dogs with me, and I walked up, and I looked at it, and annoyingly, it was a really bright day.
Oh my God, I don't know. Why is it going on so long?
What? No, but so I could just see the silhouette. It was really hard to see it because of the backlight, right? So I thought I'll go around the other side. So I walked around the other side of the tree to have a look. And that's when I saw like the kind of slate coloured back, and then got a view of its breast. Which was like a bronzy colour, and it was a sparrowhawk.
That's lovely.
And I was like, "That's
proper bird,
but finally some proper birdage
talk
on
about
the
a
heath."
songbird. Lovely.
No, God. So it was nice to be that close, and it just sat about 20 foot as me and my dogs were just, the dogs were just chilling, sniffing around, but I was like admiring it. So that was my highlight.
That was lovely. No, sparrowhawks are great.
They are great.
Yeah, I know. They are great.
They are great. Back
so
off.
So mine's more of like a spiritual moment that I had. Honest to God.
Well, we are predictable if nothing else.
Look, I've seen some lovely things this week. I've been enjoying the bullfinches in the garden. Saw some black guillemots last week out on the sea. But really, the highlight for me this week was last night. I went out on a boat in the dark. It's a true story.
And I could see fuck all.
Because it was dark. But we took the boat out into the bay.
Yeah.
Cut the engine. Just bobbed around in the darkness. The inky black sea and the inky black around us. And I shit you not, Ryan Dalton, the stars were bobbing around on the water and looking up at the night sky. Absolutely stunning. Like, you don't, where I live, you don't see the stars in the summer. So you have to take them where you can get them.
Interesting.
It's too light. It doesn't get dark here.
Does it not?
Never quite gets dark. July and August doesn't quite get dark.
Interesting. Never really noticed that when I've been on Butte.
If you've ever been to a dark skies area, and do have a look online because you can see where the dark skies areas are in the UK, where they're away from light pollution, and a good clear night when you look at the stars, it is actually mind blowing.
Nice. Oh, that is a nice one. It's nice,
thank you. We're so predictable. I hate us.
It's fine. We are who we are. And
I'm going to mix it up next week. I'm going to do a Ryan Dalton one, which is like I saw a buzzard.
I thought you were saying bus.
Saw a bus.
Saw a bus. It's great. We have had some people send in some nature highlights. Would you like to know what they are?
Go on then.
We had Kai message us on Instagram. Hi, Kai. I'm not going to read out the first bit because it's just patting us both on the back.
Oh, read that bit for me. I need it. My ego's a bit destroyed today.
No, Kai just sent a lovely message saying he's just got into the podcast in the last year, and he's been listening all the way back forward, and is currently just about to start the 2025 season. So welcome, Kai, to the chaos, and I hope you're enjoying the show.
Although, welcome, Kai, from the past, because he won't have listened to this one yet.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's blown my mind. Kai is a gardener naturalist at a manor and a garden in Dorset called Mapperton Estate, and they've been rewilding their estate for the last 3 years. And they've just released a pair of beavers into an enclosure on site, and he got the pleasure of releasing the female. So that was the biggest moment, not only of the year, he said, but so far of his life. Why'd you have to say
I have today as well.
Why'd you have to say things like that?
So
I'm halfway through Kai's story here. So he said it's not only the biggest moment of the year, but his life. Seeing the first ever beaver so close has given him hope for future generations, which I thought was a lovely highlight.
That's nice. Thanks, Kai.
That's really nice. So that was Kai's highlight that came in. We had one from Jen, which was highlights so far was snowdrops. I've not seen any snowdrops yet. Have you?
Jen's writing from the future. You see Kai's from the past.
Yeah. Jen snowdrops and a tawny owl calling and a single daffodil. Absolutely owning it.
No.
You hate daffodils,
No,
don't you?
no daffodils on this show. Sorry, Jen. I'll take your snowdrop but your daffodil can fuck off.
Sorry, Jen. Sorry. You the secret flower we can't have on the show.
Touched a nerve.
But it made Jen feel good, and that's a lovely thing.
That is actually all that matters.
I had some highlights from our friend Kit.
Oh, Kit. Lovely
Yes,
Kit.
yeah, I was waiting for
hi,
that penny
Kit.
to drop.
We love you.
Nature treats over winter have included multiple baby seals, mostly alive.
Oh,
Absolutely adorable.
That's a classic Kit comment.
I thought that.
Like yuck.
There's a highlight in there. Sometimes you have to find it. And then finally, one from a listener called Matt saying his 2025 highlight is seeing purple emperors in Basin Woods and learning to survey for bats too.
That's a great one to finish off. That's a
Awesome.
proper nerdy one.
I know, purple emperors. What a great sight. So thank you for sending in your highlights on Instagram.
I think they've all beat mine and Ryan's.
All right, my sparrowhawk was up there.
Yeah, 20 foot up there.
If you would like to share your nature highlight from the week or for 2025, we can still do them throughout January. Feel free to give us a DM on Instagram or drop us an email at intothewildpod@gmail.com. Do mention your name because we'd like to give you a shout out and detail what that nature highlight is, and we'll share it on the show.
Okay. Well, let's get into some nature news, I guess.
We better add. Should we go for week 36?
Someone's keeping track. Coming to you from Scotland
To London.
and around the globe.
Award-winning...
What, really?
Shut up. Conservation journalists Ryan Dalton and Nadia Sheikh
Bring you into the wild's nature news.
Well, that was new.
That is new, yeah, for 2026. I just think it was about time we professionalised up.
If we can't rip off a major media channel, what can
Don't know
we
what you're
do?
talking about. Original.
So, would you like to start? Would you like me to go first?
I would like to start today. Okay, so this is the story. Ryan, you know how much I love national parks.
You love them, famously, and you have zero problems with them.
I do find it extraordinary, like there is a big part of me that's just like, wow, okay, so these whole places that are going to be protected for nature that are, outside of our country, actually, they are epic amounts of land compared to what we're used to.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge.
And this is there is a wildlife corridor that is 2,800 kilometres long, and there's a new national park in Chile that joins these up. It'll be the country's 47th national park, 200,000 hectares. Can you envisage in your brain what 200,000 hectares is? How many football pitches is that?
Oh God, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I know Namibia's got one that's like, I think close to 100,000.
Wow. Okay.
So that was huge. So maybe it's huge. It's big.
So it's called Cape Forward National Park, and it's a wild expanse of wind-torn coastline and forested valleys that harbours unrivalled biodiversity and has played host to millennia of human history. And there's a quote here. I have been to many exceptional places, and I can tell you that Cape Forward Project is the wildest place I've ever walked through, says Christine Tompkins, the renowned US conservationist at the heart of the project. It's one of the few truly wild forests and peak territories left in the country, and the richness of indigenous history in the region makes the case for these territories to be preserved for all time. And that was the point of the article that I stopped reading, and I thought, who is this person that doesn't sound like she's from Chile?
Fair question.
Right, so Christine Tompkins was part of an organisation like Thompson's Conservation organisation, and it's now called Rewilding Chile. It's been rebranded. First red flag. First red flag was Christine. First red flag was National Park. Second red flag was Christine. Third red flag was from America.
Just in
North
case
America.
this article ever reaches Christine, are we saying the name Christine is a red flag?
Well, I just didn't. Not that. I know one Chilean person, and their name didn't sound anything near Christine. Anyway, so there was this organisation for many years that was set up by millionaires, philanthropists, and conservationists. Christine and her husband Douglas Thompson, who sadly died in 2015 in a kayaking accident.
Oh dear.
He was the founder of North Face.
Oh,
Clothing.
that's
Right.
cool.
So they're adventurers, and they have over the years from Tompkins Conservation bought up hundreds of thousands of acres of land and put it over to conservation. And so a quick Google told me that there has been a deep criticism from indigenous communities, seeing as though that it mentions the long human history. Indigenous communities have not been involved. It's been very top down, and actually people from communities that live across these vast places, Chile and Argentina throughout Patagonia, have not been consulted in the creation of what is, a fairly epic,
a massive bridge. Yeah.
So I didn't read. I've not read about the national parks enough in Chile to see how they're managed and how it's resourced in terms of managing wildlife. But obviously there are benefits we know by, people. I mean, having land that is owned by somebody who is this is not going to be exploited for resources in the ground or whatever that might be, and actually the purpose is to protect biodiversity. But anyway, I just kind of, then I started reading lots of research papers around the impacts, which we've covered this time and time again, but there's so many research papers out there that have looked at the impacts of places that have been handed over to wildlife and conservation, and in every single example there is an indigenous community going, hang on a minute, we've not been consulted or anything. And actually the overwhelming response to this is, without involving communities, these things can be unsuccessful or actually not protect the human heritage of the area or understand indigenous practices that have managed that land or been part of that land. But so there is just, I guess maybe the point that I'm trying to make is that when you read these stories, this was from The Guardian, it's quite a long story about, the group have spent the best part of a decade knitting together a patchwork of land purchases and state-held properties to create the park. In 2023, they signed an agreement with the Chilean government to donate the land to become Cape Forward National Park, and talking about endangered deer species, wild pumas, the endangered Hulin. I'm assuming it's pronounced a river otter, and talks about 100,000 hectares of sphagnum bogs, which we know are an incredibly rare habitat and special habitat. So these articles really make you go, whoa, nature, right on, this is cool, this is what we need, but actually doesn't have any mention of the kind of the issues that underpin the creation of all these national parks. I can still be happy about it, but critical. But I didn't realise that the founders of North Face, billionaire philanthropists, were behind all of this, but I do now.
It's weird, isn't it? Because we've said on this show a lot, multiple things can be true at the same time, so therefore we can feel several things at the same time about one thing. And something like a national park on any scale is always going to deliver, depending on how we're measuring success or positivity or whatever, it will deliver something something is going to benefit from that. But there is historically a lot of repetitive things that do not benefit from that. And a lot of the time is, globally indigenous communities or just local communities around these areas of land. I always find it surprising how it's forgotten all the time.
Yeah.
Even now, I still find it surprising that no one's gone, is there no body representing communities at all? And there might not be. I don't know enough about it, but I know in other countries there are.
There are.
So I'm so surprised that it's forgotten and not in the story somewhere saying, it's amazing that we're not reading this story in 2026 with you going, and what they did is they had the heads of these, as an example, 6 indigenous communities that live in these regions speak to the government and the stakeholders to say what they recommend is best to do. I'm so fucking surprised that's not happening.
There is a little footnote. I mean, there is a little bit at the end, but it's not really representative of Indigenous voices. An Indigenous consultation is a legal requirement for large-scale projects in Chile, which was held in September but fell flat. The Chile, that's how it's pronounced, Chile's Environment Ministry said it would make every effort to advance with the plans. If no progress is made after 2 years, the land reverts to the ownership of the Tompkins organisation.
Brilliant. Okay, cool. But this is also the problem with private ownership, right? So, if it goes back to that one person, it's kind of it's only going to succeed in what that one person wants to do. And if it suddenly changes hands, then it could go anywhere. It's not sustainable.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. What if they decide to sell it? I don't know.
Exactly. If they're like,
if
my
there's not
dreams
people
didn't work.
living on... If no one is there in the forest to hear a tree fall, as the saying goes, does a tree make a sound? And if communities aren't living with and alongside nature, then what is the point?
It's an interesting one. Definitely one to, like you said, it's got that good and not so good. It's got a feeling of ickiness to it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much more than what I can cover here in this news story. This is just really a broad brush. Or like, we'll see what happens. You know, we can, if you're interested in this, you can watch the progress of this national park, what happens on the ground. And I'm sure I'd found it very hard in my research to find like reports of indigenous people or Chilean people who live on the ground and their thoughts and feelings. It was very hard to find those voices.
Well, maybe we have some friends at Survival International. Maybe we get in touch with them and see if they've got any knowledge. And see if we can give the nerds an update in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's try that. I've got the tiniest of little nuggets, and this isn't even a news story, but this is just something last week when we were talking about elk.
Oh God.
We briefly mentioned beavers, and then we both stared at each other going, they got the green light, didn't they get the green light? How's that happening? Has that come into place yet?
Great.
And we
did
both
you follow
forgot. Yeah, I did a very quick bit of research, bit of Googling,
babe.
just to try and find out what was going on, because beavers have been in the news in England so many times, I think, and governments have changed since, and I think our heads are a bit like, sorry, what happened and when? So just to update the nerds from week 35, when we briefly discussed this, we asked the question, can beavers be released without fencing now? And the answer is yes.
Great. I'll take one.
So you still have to have a permit, and you still have to have the same kind of checks. So disease and risk, and check in with like landowners, farmers and private landowners and stuff like that. And you have to go through that kind of same consultation. And you need to get a permit, which I think, if I remember correctly, was called A69. And if you get one of them, you can release a beaver on your site.
I'm going to download a PDF now. Where does one procure a beaver? Look, we haven't really got rivers on Butte, so it would have a miserable old time up here.
Miserable time when you'd have to... Maybe you got locks? You got a lock?
Got a loch.
Do that.
Yeah, okay. I'll let you know how it gets on.
But my main story for
Ryan.
week 36, I found in The Guardian, and it's written by Sophie Roberts. And the headline caught my attention, and it's something I've always been kind of interested in. And I think also goes back to your point that you made briefly last week, Nadia, about the IUCN Red List, which is not mentioned in this article, but I think we can tie that in somewhere and talk about that briefly. So the headline of this article and news story is Africa's Great Elephant Divide. Countries struggle with too many elephants or too few. So the article kind of looks at two main countries or two main areas. So we do look at Sudan, and I'm going to be honest with you, I did struggle to read about Sudan and elephants without thinking about the humanitarian crisis that's going on in Sudan right now. So I kind of want to just like, we're not going to talk about that now, but I just want to pin that's in my heart as I talk.
We're not unaware.
Yeah, I'm not unaware of that. So it's written in a really lovely way. So it sounds like this is Sophie's journey that she went to kind of have a look. And focusing on Sudan, an area that they were checking an area of 9,000 square kilometres, looking for one of the last bull elephants left in that area, and a GPS collar helps them ping the coordinates every hour to where that elephant might be. But if you go back 50 years ago in Sudan, life for elephants in this part of Africa was really different. So about in the 1970s, an English ecologist called Dr. Murray Watson crisscrossed the skies of Sudan in a bush plane to measure wildlife populations. So whilst Dr. Murray's methodology wasn't as reliable as modern counts, he estimated Sudan had about 133,500 elephants in what is now South Sudan. So you imagine they're checking this area for like one elephant, and you know it's an incredible difference. So the population is down about to 5% to what it was 50 years ago. Meanwhile, in southern Africa, the opposite problem exists. If you go to parts of the Kavango, Zambezi Transfrontier Conservation Area, or the Kaza. So this is an area we wouldn't have made it when we went to Namibia. It's quite far north, so it's on the border of Angola, goes into Botswana and stuff, and it's like a really kind of a freshwater habitat as well. So pachyderms do really well there. It's like rhinos, hippos, and elephants do really well because of the lush greenery and stuff. The problem is especially of the Kaza's eastern edge, where people and pachyderms are being squeezed into tighter and tighter land parcels without ecological resources to sustain them both. So governments and communities and conservationists debate whether the elephant should be culled for food, hunted for generating community income, or fenced or translocated. It's a real mix of issues because you're talking about several nations having to debate what's best for which community as well. So going back over to South Sudan, they're looking at, with African Parks, which is NGO, they're looking at areas where elephants could sustain or could like come back. So you've got mega herbivores that have large migrations. So these areas could, there's a lot of optimism to having elephants back here. But looking at, talking to Sudanese, there's a hunter in Boma's Mawara village says he saw his last elephant 4 years ago. The last one he killed was 2 years ago before that, and his reason quite bluntly was, I was hungry. The hunter made some money from that ivory, about $50 for each tusk, divided between 5 men. The hunter then also said if he encountered another elephant again in this time, he would kill it for food. He said, we're really poor, we have nothing, no one standing here has a job, all we can do is survive. The reason why I've added that bit in the story to actually talk to you about is because it kind of shows people's real situations living in areas like this, and how elephant populations being low is a different problem for them as it might be to us in the West emotionally. And then when we go back to Zimbabwe, it is quite literally the opposite problem, where we have people being killed by elephants. So Hwange National Park, which is a national park in Zimbabwe that we have spoken about on the show before, has threefold its population of elephants that it was originally built for. So elephants are spilling over past the buffer zones into villages looking for resources and trampling people and things like that.
Wow.
The reason why I wanted to talk about this story, it's a really well-written article, and it's as always linked in the write-up of this episode, so do go on that and have a good read through. There's some really good stories and hand-on quotes from people on the ground. But it does go back to this point that we've spoken before about the IUCN Red List, which determines how species are managed globally. But we don't often hear from countries of this, whether it be Zimbabwe, Botswana, or Sudan. The stage time that these kind of countries get at IUCN conferences is not very much. They don't get much of a say. And I think it's mad that we kind of title an animal such as an African elephant as whatever we do, endangered or at least concerned or vulnerable, for its global population, when they can be so vastly different in different countries. So being from going down to its final 5 population compared to the 50s, whereas in Botswana they have 150,000 elephants.
Wow.
It's just mad how we can like label that one species.
It's a
the same.
blunt tool, isn't it?
It really is. So
it really is a blunt tool in a world that's quite complex.
Exactly that, and this is why I wanted to talk about this and share this article with our listeners, because I think it's an article that really is the ethos of our podcast. It's talking about wildlife. It's got that human element, and human element, and it really shows. It shows the difference between kind of views on how people live with elephants or wildlife and things like that, and how many different takes you can have on one problem or one different sides of a coin. So I'd really recommend reading this full article, having a good think about how you feel about it, and I hope that an article like this might change people's perception on how they feel about kind of species population and how that's kind of monitored as we work and go forward in biodiversity conservation.
Yeah, and then that kind of like land, rather than, countries thinking about land and wide ecosystems, and, wildlife doesn't know borders.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. It's. I mean, these countries have changed a lot in 50 years as well. And Sudan, like I said at the beginning, is going through a lot of issues. Elephants is probably not on the top thing for a lot of people right now. But it's just something to keep into the mind about how, when we sit here in England or wherever you are in the world, and we're talking about elephant conservation, you got to think about these kind of differences and these nuances, and do a bit of research about how they're doing in the countries that we're talking about. Africa is not one country, people.
Africa isn't one country.
So we have to think deeper than that. But a really good article. I think Sophie has done an incredible job researching, clearly travelling and reporting on that. So yeah, highly recommend a read.
Thanks, Dalton.
It's all right.
What's that word?
Pachyderms.
Pachyderm.
Pachyderms.
You love pachyderms, don't you?
Yeah. I think so.
Love a pachyderm. I'm trying to commit that word to my dictionary about wildlife.
I think it is. I can't remember the actual definition, but I think it's something like large mammal that is something either like that eats a lot of grass or something like that.
Yeah, thick-skinned.
Thick-skinned. It is thick-skinned. That is it.
Is it thick-skinned?
I'm pretty sure it's thick-skinned.
Fucking hell, that just came out my head.
Yeah, I think you've just hit the nail on the head. I'm pretty sure it's a thick-skinned large mammal.
Sometimes of the month I can be a proper pachyderm. Other times, can't stop crying.
Other times, really not.
Other times I get insulted very easily. Thanks, Ryan. Do we have a time for a quickie or not?
Yeah, go for it, yeah.
So I've got a quickie. This is a story about the demand for elite falcons in the Middle East.
Yeah, do it.
And the illegal trade of British birds. I did not know that our peregrine falcons were being taken from nests for the Middle East falcon trade.
What do you mean our peregrine falcons?
Peregrine falcons there's a quote here which then isn't matched in the rest of the article, which is the rest of the article, which says 100 birds go missing a year, but between 2014 and 2023 there were reports of 126 nests being raided, 21 of which have been confirmed using camera footage, DNA work or eyewitness accounts. All are believed to be part of the peregrine falcon trade, which is linked to, or there is a link to, the Middle East falcon trade. So falcons have been used for hunting as a cultural traditional practice in the Middle East.
England.
Our birds are being taken. So listen, check this out. Let me find this bit. The cold climate of Northern Europe is considered the ideal for creating tough, fast birds, and British-bred birds from established lines carry additional prestige. It's all about prestige of having really good bloodlines of falcons. So legally, only captive-bred peregrine falcons can be traded. Birds cannot be taken out of the wild because of the Wildlife and Countryside Act 1981, which is the law that underpins most of our wildlife protection laws. Mm-hmm. However, they are being taken from nests as part of that trade. Now, demand for wild birds appears to be coming from two directions, experts and police say. The first is direct from the falconers in the Middle East who want birds for racing, and the second is from some breeding facilities that need them as parents to feed the booming appetite for hybrid falcons. Right. So you can get a captive bred bird, but its parents might have been wild. And there is an exhibition in Abu Dhabi, and not on record or not publicly, but traders will happily discuss their desire for wild caught birds. So they're not formally advertised, but it's like the Rolls Royce kind of thing. Right. And I didn't know this was happening.
I had no idea this was a thing.
These findings have been disputed by some experts in the industry who argue that trafficking is minor or non-existent. In reality, the level of illegal take described by the NWCU is a handful of birds per year, says Dr. Nick Fox, director of the International Wildlife Consultants, who has supplied the royal families of the UAE and the Bahrain with falcons. So obviously he's got a reason to play down this.
Why is it always that? The person that goes, look, there's really nothing to worry about, says the head of wild capture at falconry.com.
Yeah. But I actually do work for, And actually, do you know what made me click on the link, which was really striking? If you have a look at this article in The Guardian, do encourage you to look. The first image is this whole room full of falcons just perched in like a, like if you went to an exhibition centre. These are alive birds, all falcons in this building. They've got those little hats so they can't see, so they don't fly. And they all just look really sad and...
It's horrible.
It describes it here in a small glass room marked Elite Falcons Hall. 4 young birds belonging to an undisclosed Emirati sheikh are displayed like expensive jewels. Entry to the room with its polished glass, controlled lighting and plush seating is restricted to authorised visitors only. And they get special passports and jetted around the world. They have special hospitals, special for their healthcare, and some cost more than luxury cars. An American falcon at the exhibition will sell for the equivalent of £71,000.
I'm running out of words. I'm running out of them. What is going on?
I don't know. But anyway, guys, if you know where your nearest peregrine falcon nest is, just keep a little eye on it.
Keep an eye on that,
breeding season.
Yeah, Jesus.
They're getting jiggy now. Early birds of prey, start early.
Well, I did not see that being the last news story.
Well, they don't see anything coming. They've got them little helmets on their heads.
Can't see anything.
Well, nerds, that was the end of week 36 of Nature News, where we talked about a new national park in Chile,
Absolutely.
elephants in more than one country in Africa, and the complexities of animal-wildlife conflict, and pachyderms, meaning thick-skinned large herbivores, I've learnt. And lastly, falcons, the falcon trade, and British peregrine falcons being hardy by our winter climate being prized in the United Arab Emirates. So
I tell you what, I'd like to see him try and get up the towers of London where those peregrines are. Take those ones. Take the ones off of Parliament. I'd like to see that happen. How ballsy do you want to be?
Take my Parliament ones, proper British falcons.
HP Source falcons, proper, with their bowler hats on. Anyway, maybe that's why they put the little covers on them. Are they just bowler hats?
Yeah, little bowler hats.
From the English, yeah, that makes sense now.
Cockney. Right. Okay.
No, thanks for tuning in. As always, give us a follow on Instagram. Review us on whatever platform you're listening to if you can, or just share us on social media. If you'd like to donate to the show, which helps us keep going with what we're doing, you can do so. You can make a one-off donation or do a monthly subscription. And as always, if you want to share your nature highlight with us, just give us a DM anywhere or email us and let us know what it is, and we'll share it on the next show.
Encourage us, me and Ryan. We need to hear your nature highlights so we can up our game for next week.
Absolutely. Next week, when we're back for Nature News week 37, we have the first of our new change coming in for Nature News, which is our very first guest that will be coming on to join Nadia and I on our news show to deliver some more nature news. And I'm going to keep that secret until next week, of course. But this will be happening once or twice a month, having different guests on the show to join Nadia and I as we talk about global nature news stories. But until next week, enjoy the rest of your weekend and your week, and we'll see you on the next show.